Yo, everybody, welcome to the Green Room. Today we're talking to Gideon Alcide, a guitarist and a great guy overall, great partner. I enjoyed talking to him, and I think you'll enjoy listening to the conversation that we had. Remember, the Green Room is open to all Caribbean instrumentalists, even those who don't live in the Caribbean. So, if you're interested in talking to us, shoot us an email at lucianmusicians@gmail.com. Now, let's get into music.
Mm.
And what the green room is, and as a performer, whenever you go to perform at a venue, they sometimes have a little room in the back where people just cool out and just chill until the time comes for you to actually take the stage and actually perform.
Right, right, right.
And so this little forum that we're having is just a time for us to just cool out and just have a frank conversation, just an easygoing conversation, something that other musicians can relate to, other instrumentalists, Caribbean instrumentalists can relate to, and we just have a good time. We of course we're talking about music, but of course we can talk about anything else in the world. You know, life is life.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, man. So I have a couple of little questions and stuff for us to talk about. But before we go into any of that, the main thing right now, the main thing on your mind, main thing on my mind, I think, is the album,
All right.
Finding Myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. So tell me a little bit about the album.
man. Like I've been working on this album for like I'd say maybe 2 years, man. Like because um um we were supposed to release this album on the first. Well, my intention was to release the album on the first of 2019, and it never happened. And before that, like I sat with that album, like demoing the songs and working on editing the lyrics and working on the instrument parts and all that kind of stuff, maybe for about a year.
Mm.
And then I went in studio and like my intention was to release it last year, at the beginning of last year, but it never happened. And it took us like a year in this, like to with the producer to work on the songs and all that kind of stuff. And finally, it's out. But I'm kind of like happy like that it kind of took that long because like we got to make some adjustments and corrections, if I should say, and that kind of thing.
All
Yeah,
right.
but it's an album. I most of the songs I kind of wrote based on personal experiences and and basically on what I want to achieve. Basically, that's why I named it "Finding Myself" because that's what I'm doing basically. Like on the music scene, I'm trying to find myself. So I named the album "Finding Myself."
Yeah, man. And I've already listened to a couple of songs myself. Just I pulled it up on Spotify and I was listening to it, and I like some of the songs, especially the first song, "Finding Myself."
Yeah,
I like the vibe. I
yeah.
feel like you kind of have John Mayer sort of influence.
Ooh, man, don't say that. You're making me so happy, man. Man, like I like Johnny Mayer. I think is my favorite artist. Like he's writing, he's playing as a guitarist, man. Like I don't know, I just have a connection when it comes to his playing, especially like
Mm.
his like his choice of notes and the feeling, especially in his playing, man. I just feel so connected to it, and like I don't know, he's one of my he's probably my biggest influence. And when somebody tell me I sound like John Mayer, man, I'm like, what? Man, like to me,
Yeah,
like
man.
John Mayer is a shit, man. John Mayer is I don't know, like there's no way to describe John Mayer, man. But also he's writing, man, like he's so interesting and all that kind of stuff. He's just an interesting artist entirely.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
but the song Finding Myself, yeah, I wrote that song. I named the album after that song, basically.
All right. Yeah, I'm a John Mayer fan too, so I have some of his songs I listen to, and I'm definitely a fan.
Yeah, man,
Um,
I'm trying. As a musician, I won't lie, I'm trying to copy John Mayer so bad, man. If
yeah,
I could,
man.
if I could just play like John Mayer, I'm good. I don't need anything more, man. Like, honestly, as a guitarist, I respect all guitarists. There are some guys who are really fast. some guys who got all that technique and all the tapping and stuff. I respect that. Like,
Yeah,
but to me, like, if I could just play like John Mayer and the way he make me feel, I could make somebody feel like that, man, that's enough for me. Like
of course.
honestly, yeah, John Mayer is awesome.
Yeah, man. You
Yeah,
know, go ahead.
but I have so many different other influences, but John Mayer I think would be my number one.
All right, and I can definitely respect that because he's a real master. He's a real master at what he does.
Yeah, man, like it's John Mayer good, man.
Yeah, man. So a couple of months ago, that was probably I can't even remember when I messaged you because I messaged you on Instagram a good while back. Because I picked up guitar, like regular guitar. I play bass.
Yeah,
Um,
you told me that, man. How's that going?
so here's the thing I did to kind of trick myself into learning because a lot of people start playing and after a while life gets them and they just stop practicing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I decided I'm going to do 1,000 hours of guitar practice. Uh, and if at the end of 1,000 hours I still don't know anything, then all right, maybe it's not for me.
Nah, man.
you know.
But
So
I think you don't need 1,000 hours is a lot of time. And you're already a musician. You play bass already, so you kind of like understand like the scale, all that kind of stuff.
yeah, and progressions and stuff.
Right. So
But it's really just a way to just force myself to practice. So right now I'm at 182,
and
182 hours so far.
and how you feel? How you feel you're doing so far?
I'm feeling a lot more comfortable. I think I know pretty much all the basics. The standard bar chords,
Mhm.
pretty much all the basic chords so I can kind of get by.
Yeah, yeah.
But now is the time to just kind of push myself to kind of get to that next level and you know get into the more intricate um stuff.
Stuff.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, man. So just following up with you, letting you know that I actually did it.
Yeah, man. Like we might. Yeah, man. I'd love to hear you play, man. We should. And who knows? We might jump sometime, man.
Yeah, man.
And I'd love to learn from you, man.
Nah, man. Yo, I just really like the instrument.
Yeah.
Like as a bassist, I'll always love bass. Bass is always
Yeah.
number one.
Mhm.
But when it comes to just expressing yourself in different ways, I think I really love the guitar for that.
Yeah,
You know?
man. That's why I felt like I didn't want to play any other instrument because I'll get 1 minute.
Yeah, no
Hello,
problem.
yo. They just told me I'm medically signed off. They just told me I'm medically signed off. Yeah. What are they? Yeah, they just told me I'm thinking. No, yeah, I'm signed on. Sorry. What? Oh, I'll check you later. I wanna call it. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So what I was about to say, when I started playing, it was basically my brother and I because my dad brought that guitar home and both of us were interested in the guitar and stuff.
Mm.
But then my brother was always ahead of me. So like he told me like like I should probably pick up the bass or the piano or something like that, so we can always be in the same band. But I
Mm.
don't know, it just never happened, man. The guitar, I was just connected to the guitar, man.
Yeah, man.
Because we started playing in church and stuff. I tried touching the guitar, I tried touching the piano, but I just never got that connection I got from playing like when I had the guitar, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah, man. I remember when I was a little boy, coming to your church and see it. I remember you and your brother and everybody playing, man.
yeah, man. Like I miss those days, man. Like,
Yeah, those were the simple days there.
yeah, but honestly, playing in church, there's that feeling that playing church that you can get anywhere else. Like no matter what music you play, like I don't know. There's just something about playing gospel music or hymns or whatever that I don't know. It's I don't know. It's closer to the heart, I'd say.
Mm.
I love when I play. I try to play like from the heart and But like I don't know, something about gospel music that it's deeper than any other genre, I'd say.
Hmm. You know, I think I would say the same thing too. And I can't really put my finger on it either.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't really put my finger on it, but like I don't know, it's just I don't know. The connection is deeper. It feels more real. It's just I don't know. I can't
so
explain it, man, but
a
it's
question, a question I would ask you is there, what would you say that you learned while playing in church that has really helped your overall career?
ooh, that's a good question. And to be honest, when I started playing in church, I always wanted to get better.
Uh,
I always wanted to get better. Like I think that's why I actually decided I want to be a musician because it's because of church. I was listening to those musicians like Jonathan Dupos and Jubu Jubu Smith and all those guys, man. And like I was like, you know what, I want to get to those guys' level and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it just kept that same attitude, that habit. I still have it up till today. Like whoever I listen to, if I can do it, like whoever inspire me, I just wanna like get to that level, you know.
yeah.
So like it just feels like a never ending no battle.
Now, man, I completely understand that,
Yeah,
because that's one thing that's one thing that's a blessing too, because there's a lot of musicians that start playing and get to a certain point where they just stop wanting to get better. They just kind of give up, stop practicing.
I know it's hard sometimes, man. Like the struggle is hard sometimes, but like all I gotta say is like you just gotta keep fighting and keep pushing, and like everything, like any other thing else in life, like if you want it, you must work hard for it.
Right.
And just like music, you gotta like put in the same attitude and the same effort behind the music if you want to achieve it.
Hmm.
Because practice, if you practice, you get better. If you don't practice, you will just probably like get lackadaisical and you know.
Right.
But also, playing in church also I always find myself connecting or drifting towards like musicians where I feel like what they're doing because like first like Jonathan Dubos like I mentioned and Jubu Smith like I don't know when I listen to them or compare them to other musicians like to me like they played I always had that connection and that feeling and it's the same thing I find like I don't know well me as a musician I always connect have that connection towards like certain musicians based on how they play, not basically, not mainly because of technique,
Mm.
but on the feel of how they express themselves on the instrument.
Right.
So yeah, so like that from since when I started playing church, that has always been a thing like for me. Like that's why I love John Mayer so
Mm.
much because I feel so connected to his
Yeah,
music.
and I think a big part of that comes from a lot of that comes from practice, because I find that the more you practice, the more your expression comes out in your playing, right? The more you can express how you feel or what's coming out of you with your playing on your instrument. Because it's almost like the more you practice, the more your instrument is becoming a part of you, you know?
Yeah, you're right. But also, I know I you can see certain guys like you know like they've practiced so much that the technique is like is out of this world. Like they you watch them play and you'd be like, nah, okay, like probably I should pick up another instrument because how can someone do that? But
Right.
but the technique is probably twice as good as John Mayer's, I'd say,
Mm.
and still when I listen to them, like I don't feel as connected when I listen to John Mayer. Like they would play maybe 10 notes and John Mayer would play 4 notes. And I'd feel those 4 notes would make me feel so good, bro. Like
Yeah, man.
yeah, yeah,
I completely understand what you're saying.
yeah, that's
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that's where you really get into just the music being your gift, just being a
like
part of who you are, you know. And every musician has their own voice. The same way you say finding myself,
Hmm.
you know, I'm sure in your experience, just in music and playing music, you'll find that, you know, there's certain things that you play and there's certain ways that you might play something that nobody else will ever play that way, you know?
Yeah,
Even if they're technically better than you at the instrument, there's,
that's that's
yeah.
that that's why I told you I'd love to jump with you and learn from you, because like I you can learn from anybody, like even the musician who's probably like just learning like 2 months, like probably they might do something very interesting that you know you
Yeah,
might
man.
wanna like pick up on that. So yeah. So
Yeah,
it
man.
doesn't matter like your caliber or whatever, as a musician. Like I just feel like I can learn from anybody.
Yeah, man, and that's really the attitude of some of the masters of any craft. You know, the master actors, the master comedians, the master musicians. Everybody's always looking to learn. You know, and I really admire that about you.
Yeah, man, because like the way I feel like, to me the music is not a competition to see who's better, or I can do that better than you. Or that. To me, that's not how I see it. Like to me, it's just like me. I'm doing something I love, and that's it. Like I
All right.
somebody else is doing what they love, and I'm happy. Like if like they get to that level, and like we have our own different styles, and it would be good to come together and just bring our two different worlds together and just make music, man, and
Yeah, man.
just make people happy and make people feel good. That's the whole point. It's not about, oh, who can do this better, or who can, like, it's never about that for me.
All right. And that's really the attitude of greatness. But I know you said we have around 15 minutes. I don't know how much more time you have. I
I
don't
can
want to
give
take
you
too much of your time.
how long we've taken 20, not
Uh,
50.
I think we've taken about 15 so far. I don't know how much more you have.
I can give you another 5.
All right. Well, so I just have two quick questions for you, and you can just blaze through them real quickly.
Yeah.
I just want to know if you were to have all the bands in Saint Lucia right now, in one place, and you could tell everybody something to just push just Caribbean instrumentalists forward, or just some advice for bands in the Caribbean, what would you say?
Mm. Keep it original.
Hmm.
Keep it. Well, I always have that saying: always play from your heart, and I always believe that you gotta play from your heart, because that's how people feel connected when you play from your heart. And I don't want to go back there, but I that's when I spoke about the connection I feel playing in church. I think it has a lot to do with that, because when I played gospel music, I don't like it. Just felt like deep, like in my heart. And recently when I play in church and I like just let out my soul, like I can see on people's faces that they're really feeling the music. You understand?
Mm-mm.
So I always believe you just gotta play from your heart, and like I just be you, be yourself, like find yourself basically.
All right. Um, and just the very last one is just advice. Well, I guess that ties into the last question. Advice for young musicians or people just starting on the instrument.
All
Hello?
right. To the young musicians out there, I'm going to tell them keep practice, sure, because practicing is the key to getting better. Let heart follow you, or follow your. Um, don't let anybody tell you cannot do it, or don't limit yourself. It's gonna be hard, of course, but you gotta push through. You gotta like soldier. You gotta work hard. Um, um, Let other musicians inspire you. It's never about a It's not about a competition. It's just about doing something you love and you want to do, and basically everything will fall in place, I believe.
All right.
If you just follow your heart, everything will fall in place.
Yeah, man. I completely agree. Um,
And also, I just want to say, like, I just want to tell all other musicians that, like, is keep encouraging each other, you know, keep pushing each other, keep supporting each other, and that kind of stuff. We're all the same thing, and we all want to get to that same place, you know.
All right.
So like getting support from fellow musicians means a lot. So just keep supporting all other musicians, no matter what you're doing, no matter your caliber. Keep supporting. Even the young guys who want to start playing or that stuff, keep supporting.
All right. Yeah, some wise words, from Gideon Alcide this evening. Tell people where they could find you, like if they want to listen to your album. And
Oh man, my album is on all digital platforms or stores out there, like Spotify, the main ones, iTunes, Amazon. For some of the you asking me for CDs, you can order your CDs on Amazon, Google Music, and all those other digital stores, man, like out there. So it's everywhere. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I just opened a Twitter account, so I have like I only have like around 5 followers right now. but like I said, you gotta stay strong and keep living the dream, man. Like hopefully I'll get to maybe million someday.
All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, so definitely when I post this video, I'll make sure I put in your Instagram and everything so people can follow you. It was a real pleasure talking to you tonight.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I just want to leave those words with everyone out there. It's the bridge in the song I'm finding on my album. It says, "For fame, so please accept my words. They bleed. Everyone, my dreams I seek. For fame and fortune is not the price, but to share my heart and fulfill desires." And that's what it's all about. Just to fulfill your heart desires. That's all.
Yeah, boy. Some real wise words there. I hope everybody remembers that. Uh, that's definitely. I will remember that because that really captures the musician's experience. And I really look forward to hearing more from you. Maybe another album.
I just want to let everybody know I released that album, but like over the year I've been writing a lot and I have so many other good stuff. Like I can't wait to record soon. So.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing about it, man.
No problem, man. I wish we could have spoken a bit longer, but I gotta run now.
All right, take it easy.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I really appreciate this, man.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm here for.
Cool, bro.
All right. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. I'm very excited for all the future conversations we'll be having together. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook. All of those links you can find on the website www.lucianmusicians.com. And you can expect an episode of The Green Room every month. See y'all.